my live teaching learning session of Principles of Microeconomics BECC 132. Today's topic is market failure. As you have studied in previous sessions, different forms of market structure. You have studied about perfect competition and monopoly market, monopolistic competition market, and oligopoly market. Today we will discuss about this thing, that which market is successful market and which market is called market failure, because there are different forms of market in our economy, like perfect, monopoly, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and so many other forms are also exist in economy, like duopoly market, monopsony market, bilateral monopoly market, etc. Now, which market is successful and which market is failure? How we can determine this thing, that market is successful or market is failure? First of all, you have to know about what is the meaning of market success and what is the meaning of market failure. Market success means a market which uses its available resources in such a manner that all resources efficiently utilize and produce more and more output. That market is called successful market, in which consumer surplus and producer surplus both exist. As we know that equilibrium price always determined with the help of demand and supply forces. Demand and supply curve where intersect each other, equilibrium price is determined on that point. A point of equilibrium is also decided by the intersection of demand and supply forces. Thus, market success is a vital function of all markets, because each and every market want to become successful. No one want to fail. But if we use available resources efficiently, and if we allocate our resources efficiently, then market will be successful. But if we use all the available resources in inefficient manner, or reallocate, we have to reallocate these resources to become an allocative, efficient allocation of resources. If there is a mismatch between demand and supply conditions, it leads to the situation of market failure. Market failure occurs due to inefficient allocation of resources and distortion, due to which government intervention ensures social well-being. It means market is called successful if resources are efficiently utilized, and market is called failure if resources are inefficiently allocated or utilized. So, market is successful if we use the concept of demand and supply forces, if we determine the price with the help of intersection of demand and supply curve, then market will be called successful. And if there is any mismatch or any differences between the demand and supply conditions, then it will lead to market failure. Now, next is, what are the main causes of market failure? Here, one thing you have to understand, that which market is successful. Market successful is called only perfect competitive market. Perfect competition market is that market in which Very large number of buyers and sellers exist. All sellers produces homogeneous or uniform product, and these firms are always price taker, not maker. Price is determined through the forces of market and market demand and market supply curve. Where demand and supply curve intersect each other, equilibrium price is determined. And that price, which is determined by the industry, that price is taken over by these firms. So we can say that perfect competitive market is a price taker market, not price maker. And in this market, price remains always uniform or same. So only perfect competition market is called successful market, in which allocation of resources are efficient and consumer surplus and producer surplus both exist in this market. But what are the main causes? Which market is failure market? What causes behind the failure of these markets? Monopoly market is failure market. Monopolistic competition market is also called failure market. And there are so many other reasons which are the main cause of market failure. Here we will discuss about the causes of market failure. Here these are the market failure causes. Number one is market imperfection. Market imperfection means if market is not perfect or if there is any imperfection or any mismatch exists in the market, then market will be called failure. Second point is externalities. Externality is also the main cause of market failure. Externality is called outside effects, or if the one person action affects the others, that is called externality. And externalities may be positive, may be negative. And externality is the main cause of market failure. We will discuss about this externality in next slides. Next point is public goods. Public goods are also the main cause of market failure. Public goods are those goods which are provided by the government for all. Or we can say that public goods are those goods which are collectively consumed by all the consumers. Either they are paying or not. All can use public goods. And the fourth point, which is also the main cause of market failure, is asymmetric information. Asymmetric information is called incomplete information. If there is incomplete information is available in the market, then market will be called failure market. Now we will discuss about these points in detail. Causes of market failure. Now externality may be negative, may be positive. What is externality? Externality means if the action of one person affects the others. That is called externality. And it may be positive or may be negative. Negative externalities, for example, pollution. It causing the social cost to exceed the private cost. As we are seeing that pollution is increasing day by day due to increasing industrialization, due to over or excessive exploitation of resources. So this negative externality is the main cause of market failure. And what is positive externality? Positive externality is that externality if the action of one person affects the other party positively, like education causing the social benefit to exceed the private benefits. When social benefit increases, then it is called positive externality. When social cost exceeds the private cost, that is called negative externality. Now, what is imperfect information or asymmetric information? Imperfect information or incomplete information or asymmetric information all are same. It means that merit goods are underproduced and demerit goods are overproduced. It means what is merit good? If a commodity which is very useful for everybody, if that type of good are producing in a smaller quantity and the harmful goods or inferior goods or lower quality goods which is called demerit good that are producing in our economy in a large quantity, that create the problem of imperfect information. Next is the private sector being unable to supply important public and quasi-public goods. As we know that private sector, the main aim of this sector is to earn maximum profit. And private sector always produces those goods and services which gives them more profit rather than social welfare. So government has to provide those goods and services which are necessary for our social well-being. The goods which is provided by the government is called public goods. Public goods can be used by everyone. You can't stop or you can't interfere anybody's to use this type of goods. Anyone can use, either they are paying or not. Everyone can use public goods, for example, street lights, park and roads, bridges. These things are public goods which can use by each and every person, either they are paying for that good or not. So in case of public goods, market is also failure. Next is market dominance by monopolies. Monopoly market is that market in which only single seller exists. When single seller exists in the market, then monopoly market is exist and monopoly firm always determine the price and output of the commodity itself. If monopoly exists, then producer's main aim is to earn maximum profit. How he can earn maximum profit? Producer can earn maximum profit by reducing the output level and increasing the price level. Under monopoly market, price remains always higher than output. In this case, producer surplus exists, but consumer has to pay more price. In this case, consumer surplus falls. So if there is any dominance by monopolies exist in the market, then deadweight loss situation occurs due to inefficient allocation of resources. And if resources are inefficiently allocated, then market will be called failure market. Next point is immobility of factors of production causes unemployment and productive inefficiency. As we know that factors are immobile, factors you can't easily shift from one place to another place, one country to another country. Factors are not easily movable. So if factors of productions are four, like land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. If factors of productions are immobile, then it will create unemployment problem and productive inefficiency problem. That is also the main cause of market failure. Next point is equity or fairness or equal distribution. It issues resulting in an unacceptable distribution of income and social exclusion. As we know that equal distribution is not acceptable by everyone because the person who is more talented that will earn higher income and the person who is not efficient, who is illiterate or uneducated, that person will earn lower income. So equity or fairness, this issues resulting in an unacceptable distribution of income and social exclusion. In this case, market becomes failure. So these are the main causes of market failure. Next is market imperfection. Now we will explain all these points which are the main cause of market failure. Here, first point is market imperfection. Perfect competitive market is called only successful market because in perfect competition market, resources are efficiently allocated. But if there is any imperfection exist, then market will be called failure market. As you have studied about monopoly market in earlier sessions and imperfect competition market, which is also known as monopolistic competition market, these two types of market is the main cause of market failure. Why these markets are called failure market? The main reason behind this is monopoly firm always determine the price level and output level also. Monopoly market, in this market only single seller exists and single seller wants to earn maximum profit so that producer will always increase the price level and decrease the output level. When output falls and price increases, consumer has to pay more price for that commodity. In this case, consumer surplus will not exist. Consumer has to face loss and producer will gain surplus. But when consumer loss is more than producer's gain, that situation is called dead weight loss. And this dead weight loss occurs due to inefficient allocation of resources. Second thing is imperfect competition market. Monopolistic competition market is also called failure market because in this market, excess capacity concept you have studied about this concept. What is excess capacity? Excess capacity means when the ideal output is less than the profit maximizing output. Profit maximizing output remain ideal output is more, but the profit maximizing output is less. Monopolistic competition market is that market in which buyers and sellers are in large number and there is a heterogeneous product exists in the market. All sellers produces differentiated or heterogeneous product. They differentiated their product in form of color, size, design, packing, and at present this type of market we can see everywhere Monopolistic competition market is also price maker, and producers' main aim is to earn maximum profit, so that producer always want to earn maximum profit, and goal for this achievement of this goal, producer always fix higher price and lowers the output. Excess capacity always exists when producer produces less, but he can produce more. His capacity is more, but ideal output is more. Where AC and MC cuts intersect each other, or when MC cuts AC from its lowest point, here the costs are equal, and that is called the least cost of the production. But firm wants to earn maximum profit, so that firm decides maximum price and decrease the output level. In this case, we can say that firm has excess capacity to produce more goods, but not efficiently utilizing it. That's why this market is called failure market. These both markets are the example of failure market, because these two markets are not using their available resources in efficient manner, so that consumer suffers losses. When consumer suffer losses or bear losses, and producer earn profit, in this situation, market will not be called successful market. Market imperfection makes higher profit at the expenses of a loss of allocative efficiency. The monopolist will seek to extract a price from consumers above the cost of resources used in making the product. Higher price means consumer has to pay more price for satisfying their needs or wants. And those consumers who can't pay that higher price, they will not be able to buy that product, and they can't satisfy their needs or requirements. In this case, higher prices causes a loss of consumer surplus and welfare, and it will disproportionately affects lower income families. So, market imperfection is the main cause of market failure. Next is, this is the diagram how we can show that a monopoly firm raise the price level and earn maximum profit. When producer earn maximum profit, then producer surplus will increase. But consumer has to pay more price. In this case, consumer surplus will fall. When consumer surplus fall, consumers' well-being falls. Only producer surplus increases. That will be the main cause of market failure. In this diagram, demand curve is downward sloping or less elastic. Supply curve is upward sloping and more elastic. Where both curves intersect each other, equilibrium point is determined. At this equilibrium point, equilibrium price will be OP1 and quantity will be OQ1. But monopoly firm wants to earn maximum profit, so monopoly will increase the price level from OP1 to OP2. At this price, quantity will fall from OQ1 to OQ2. In this case, price will be higher and quantity will be lower, because producer can increase the price level only at that time when quantity or output is less. Because if supply increases, then price will definitely fall. So if we want to earn maximum profit, we will fix higher price and quantity will be lower. In this case, producer will earn surplus. Monopoly price is P2 leads to higher revenue plus producer surplus, but the competitive equilibrium price remains always lower than monopoly price. So perfect competitive firm is called successful market in which equilibrium price is always taken over by these firms. At this equilibrium price or quantity, consumer and producer both will earn surplus. But monopoly will call failure market because only producer surplus exists but consumer surplus will not exist in this case. Next is externalities. Externalities is also the main cause of market failure. What is externality? In simple terms, externality is defined effects on others. The effect can be positive as well as negative. The society in which we are living it affects the life of every being. Externality, in other words, we can define that if the action of one person affects the others. That is called externality or effects on others. Externalities has two types. One is positive externality and second is negative externalities. Positive externality is defined as spillover effect or it refers to the spillover positive effects on others. And if there is negative spillover effects on the society like pollution effect, pollution always affects everybody or every person. That is called negative externality. So effects can be harmful as well as beneficial due to consumption or production of goods and services. That's why externality may be positive or may be negative. Positive spillover is referred as positive externality and negative spillover as called negative externality. Now, what is positive externality? We can give some examples to define this type of externality. A positive externality is simply the benefit to a third party that comes when a good is produced or consumed. Some examples of positive externalities are one is like property values in an area go up if a new school is built. Second is a firm benefits from the training a new employee received at their old job. A firm benefits from the training if a new employee trained, then firm can take benefits from their training. That is called positive externality. It means the action of one person affects the other party in a positive manner. That is called positive externality. If a person and any other ideas like if a person uh, increase or plants more trees or if a person uh, in their courtyard increase flowers, then everybody will be, the atmosphere will be pleasant and everybody will take advantage from their gardening. So this type of externality is called positive externality. We can explain this positive externality with the help of example and diagram. Now the example of this positive externality is, let's say vaccination for dengue is provided at a price of rupees 3,000. But this can't be afforded by everyone in the society. As a result, not everyone in the society is benefited. Supply will be more than demand, leading to a condition of market failure. As a result, government need to intervene and provide subsidy to curb the disease, thus lead to social economic welfare. The difference between marginal private benefit and marginal social benefit is the amount of subsidy which is to be provided by the government. As you have seen that in during corona pandemic, government provide free vaccination to everyone. That is the example of positive externality. If the action of government affects the other in a positive way, that is positive externality. Here we have taken the example of vaccination for dengue. If the vaccination for dengue is provided at a price of rupees 3,000 privately, you know that at private hospitals and private vaccination center, there is a very high cost of vaccination. But if government intervene in the market and government provides subsidies to curb the disease, this leads to social economic welfare. So the difference between the marginal private benefit and the marginal social benefit is the amount of subsidy which is to be provided by the government. In this case, positive externality will exist. We can show this with the help of diagram. This diagram is positive externalities diagram. Here, marginal private benefit is downward sloping curve and marginal social benefit curve is also downward sloping curve, same as demand curve, and marginal private cost curve is upward sloping curve, because as you know that cost always increases, and if a producer want to earn maximum profit, then he will put some cost. That marginal cost curve is also upward sloping, marginal private cost is also upward sloping curve. At even point where marginal social benefit curve intersect marginal private cost curve, even equilibrium point is determined. And the second equilibrium point, which is E2, that will be determined where marginal private cost curve intersects to marginal private benefit curve. There are two equilibrium points, one is E1 and other is E2. The gap, here is the gap between the E1 and E2. This gap shows subsidy which is provided by the government. Why government provides subsidy? Government provides subsidy for the social welfare, for social well-being, and if government want to provide anything at a very lower cost, then government will give subsidies, and in this case whole society will be benefited, and this type of benefited by the whole society, that is called the example of positive externality. Next is negative externality. What is negative externality? Negative externality means when the act of one person affects the others in a negative way. For example, if a person is smoking a cigarette, then smoking a cigarette means the person's act affects the environment and affects the other person in negative way. That is called negative externality. Air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, all types of pollutions are the examples of negative externalities, because pollution is harmful for all. Pollution doesn't give benefit to anyone. So if a person act if a person engaged in an industry and that industry makes more pollution and give more pollution to the environment, then the act of that person or industrialist affects the others in a negative way. That is called negative externality. So air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, all type of pollution is the best example of negative externalities. Highway congestion is also negative externality. Sometimes, one person mistake creates traffic jam problem, and this type of externality is called negative externality. The act of one person affects the other in a negative sense. And standing at a concert or sporting event, that also the main cause of negative externality or example of negative externality. We can explain this negative externality with the help of example and diagram also. This is the example of negative externality. Suppose industry produces goods and incurs cost of rupees 20,000, due to which it affects the life of fishes by exertion of waste in rivers. Therefore, let's say external cost or the cost of damaging environment equals to rupees 10,000. Social marginal cost equals to the sum of social private cost and marginal external cost, which equals to 30,000. The difference between social marginal cost and private marginal cost is negative externality or external cost, which leads to market failure, due to which government intervene and impose taxes on industry amounting rupees 10,000, which will lead to reduction in the production and shift the equilibrium to even, thus leading to efficient and effective allocation of resources. If government intervene in the market and if government impose more taxes on those industrial entrepreneurs or industrialist persons who are giving more pollution to the environment and polluting the environment in a large quantity, government should impose more taxes on those industrialists. So if there is negative externality exists, then government will impose taxes on industry. And if there is a positive externality, then government will intervene in the market and provide subsidy for the well-being of the society. This can be shown with the help of diagram. Now this diagram is here the marginal social benefit curve is downward, as you have studied in positive externality diagram, that benefit curve is always downward sloping curve and the cost curve is always upward sloping curve. So private marginal cost is upward sloping curve, social marginal cost is also upward sloping curve, and the marginal social benefit curve is downward sloping curve, where these curves intersect each other. Equilibrium point is determined where social marginal cost curve intersects marginal social benefit curve. Equilibrium point is E1 determined, and where private marginal cost curve intersects marginal social benefit, then equilibrium point E2 is determined. The gap between E1 and E2 is called negative externality. And this negative externality, in this case, government will impose more taxes to reduce this externality. And in case of positive externality, government provide subsidy. Okay, this is the main point. Externality is the main cause of market failure, and we can show this externality concept with the help of table, with the help of illustration, example, or diagram. Next is public goods. Now, public goods are also the main cause of market failure. How public goods are responsible for market failure? First of all, you have to know about what is public goods. Public goods are those goods which are provided by the government to everyone, either they are paying for that good commodity or good or not. Public good display the characteristics or features of non-excludability and non-rivalry. Public goods are generally called non-excludable goods or non-rivalries goods. A good or service is called excludable if it is possible to prevent people or consumers who have not paid for it. As you know that if a person who is paying a price for that commodity, then that type of good is called private good. Because if a person who is paying, only that person can use or that person can consume that good, then it will be called excludable good. But if a commodity or good that can be used by everyone, either they are paying or not paying, you can't stop or you can't exclude anyone. That is called non-excludable good. So non-excludable good is that good when non-payers or non or free user can also use that commodity. So excludable goods are those goods which can use only by those persons who are paying for that commodity. Others can't use. But non-excludable goods can be used by everyone, either they are paying or not. Non-rivalries goods are those goods which can be used by everyone, which can be used by every person, either they are paying or not. A good may be called rivalries or non-rivalries. A good is said to be rivalries on a rival or a rival if its consumption by one consumer prevents simultaneous consumption by other consumers, or if consumption by any party reduces the ability of another party to consume it, that is called rivalry good. A good or service is non-rival if consumption of one doesn't reduce consumption of the other. So you have to remember this thing. Rivalries goods are those goods in which consumption of one person reduce the ability of consumption of the other person. But non-rivalry good is that good in which consumption of one person does not reduce consumption of the other. Next is public goods. We can explain with the help of some examples. Some markets can fail due to the nature of public goods. As you know that the goods which is provided by the government is generally the main cause of market failure, because the good which is available at a free of cost, sometimes people use in a wrong way or not carefully use that thing. If we have any private good, we will use very carefully that commodity or things. But if there is a public good, then person or public use very carelessly that type of commodity. So in this case, market is failure. Some markets can fail due to the nature of the goods being exchanged. For example, some goods can display the attributes of public goods of common goods, wherein sellers are unable to exclude non-buyers from using a product. As in the development of invention that may spread freely once revealed, such as developing a new method of harvesting. This can cause underinvestment because developers can't capture enough of the benefit from success to make the development effort worthwhile. This can also lead to resources depletion. In the case of common pool resources, public goods are also known as collective consumption goods. Public goods are also known as common pool resources. Public goods are also called non-excludable goods or non-rivalries goods. Generally, the public good meaning is that good which is used by all, and you can't interfere, you can't exclude anyone from the consumption of that commodity. For example, there is a lake with a natural supply of fish. If people catch the fish faster than the fish can reproduce, then the fish population will dwindle until there are no fish left for future generation. In case of public goods, there is also a problem of free rider arises. The free rider problem is a type of market failure that occurs when those who benefit from resources, public goods such as public roads, hospitals, services, or a communal nature, do not pay for them or underpay. Free riders are a problem because while not paying for the good either directly through fees or toll tax or indirectly through taxes, they may continue to access or use it. Thus, the good may be underproduced, overused, or degraded. So, free rider problem. Sometimes you have see examples of free rider problem, like if a government provide you water, free water. So sometimes people open the tap and don't close that while they are not using, but not close. Water is wastage. The wastage of water is called the public good. That is also the main cause of market failure. So public good is the main cause of market failure because those goods which are provided by the government to all the country people at free of cost, either they are paying or not paying, everyone can use. They can use like common pool resources or collective consumption, like park. People went to park and spread their dust, or sometimes they put so many wrappers and other things, they making noise there. So these things are called, they are creating market failure atmosphere. So public goods are those goods which create market failure, which are the main cause of market failure. Because if people always use freely everything which is provided by the government, they are not properly use it, they are not efficiently use that thing because they think that this commodity is available at a free of cost. And if commodity is free, they are not paying anything. It means they will not properly use and they will not efficiently utilize it. If any commodity which is our private good, we use efficiently For example, in our house, we always want to clean that house, but at roads, people spread so many dust or so many pollution there. So, this type of public goods are the main cause of market failure. This may continue to access for it, people use this thing, and the good may be underproduced, overused, or degraded. So, this is the example of public goods. Next is the main cause of asymmetric information, which is also the cause of market failure. What is asymmetric information? This asymmetric information means incomplete information. If there is incomplete information exists in the market, then market will become failure. Asymmetric information means that one party has more information than the other when making decisions and transactions. The imperfect or incomplete information causes an imbalance of power. For example, when you are trying to negotiate your salary, you will not know the maximum your employer is willing to pay, and your employer will not know the minimum you will be willing to accept. Accurate information is essential for sound economic decisions. When a market experiences an imbalance, it can lead to market failure. Asymmetric information starts the downward economic spiral for a firm. A lack of equal information causes economic imbalances that results in adverse selection and moral hazards. So if one party has better information than the other, and if both parties don't know about themselves, then there is imbalancing problem occurs. And if there is imperfect information or imbalance information, yeah, any other thing which is related to exist in this market, which is the main reason of market failure that exists, that will create the problem of adverse selection and moral hazards. Now, what is adverse selection? Adverse selection is a term used in economics that refers to a process in which undesired results occur when buyers and sellers have access to different or imperfect information. By the clear from its name, adverse selection, when we select wrong thing, because if in a market good commodity and bad commodity both are exist in the market, and we don't know what type of commodity is good and what type of commodity is bad, because both the goods are in the market which are exist for sale, and if we don't have perfect knowledge, perfect information regarding that commodity, we can choose bad commodity. In this case, our selection will be adverse and we have to suffer many things. So in this case, market will become failure. So adverse selection problem always exists when there is incomplete or imperfect information exists in the market. The incomplete knowledge or uneven knowledge causes the price and quantity of goods or services in a market to shift. This results in bad products or services being selected. For example, if a bank set one price for all of its checking account customers, it runs the risk of being adversely affected by its low balance and high activity customers. The individual price would generate a low profit for the bank. Next is asymmetric information. Asymmetric information has two parts. One is adverse selection and other is moral hazards. And asymmetric information, we can solve this problem with the help of market signaling The problem of adverse selection can be reduced or eliminated by market signaling, where the producer gives signals about better quality of its product to buyers, thereby preventing the outflow of such goods. Thus, the buyers and sellers are able to differentiate between the high and low quality product, and it gives seller advantage as they are able to sell high quality products at high price. Branding, warranties helps the buyer in reducing suspicion that buyer has about the product. As you are aware with these things, that what is branding, always people want to buy that product which is available in the market, which has a very good branded product, solve the problem of adverse selection, because that product is branded. It means branded product will satisfy your need or want. That product will not be uh, inferior quality product. That's why some companies, some producers provide their products to the buyers in such a form of branding. Warranties, they provide warranties also, so that buyer assure from that product will be a good quality product. So problem of adverse selection can be eliminated with the help of market signaling. Next is moral hazard. Moral hazard are also a result of asymmetric information. A moral hazard is a situation where a party will take risk because the cost that could incur will not be felt by the party taking the risk. Moral hazard always exists in case of insurance company. As you know that if a person take insurance policy of their life insurance, the person know that what type of disease is in his body. But if he hide that information and not explain, not give that complete information to the insurance company, or company with the on behalf of that person's information give the policy to that person, in this case company will bear losses. That is the also main cause of market failure. So moral hazard is also the main cause of market failure. Moral hazard occur in employment relationship involving employees and management. When a firm can't observe all of the action of employees and managers, there is the chance that careless and selfish decision making will occur. So asymmetric information has two main things. One is adverse selection and other is moral hazard, that are the main cause of market failure. But we can solve this asymmetric information with the help of market signaling. Now, asymmetric information under this principal agent problem also exists. If a principal, it means company, if the manager in a company, manager and company owner both are different person. Owner always want to progress their company, but the manager wants to earn maximum profit. The goal of these two persons are different. Manager wants to earn maximum profit, and company wants to gain high status or prestige of their company. In this case, principal agent problem occurs. The principal can't always ensure that the agent act in the principal best interest. To solve this problem at present, all the companies provide jobs to the employees on behalf of target based job, because if they will not provide target, then person will not work efficiently, and if a person will not act efficiently, company can't achieve its higher profit goal. So principal agent problem can be solved with the help of providing incentives to the employees and provide target based jobs. So conclusion, now market failure is the main cause. Market failure exists in only monopoly market and monopolistic competition market, and if inadequate competition exists, then market become failure. Inadequate competition, inadequate information, resource immobility, public goods and externality is the main cause of market failure. So market failure always exists in these conditions. When complete information is not exist, when complete competition is not exist, when resources are not perfectly mobile, when there is a public goods and when there is a external. Thanks.